Hello and welcome back to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And it's December, everybody. So, it's almost Christmas time.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. It seemed like only a year ago it was Christmas time, didn't it?
No, but it's just like, I don't know, for several months it seemed like it sort of dragged on. And I don't know, I don't understand why when it gets around this time of year, every year, it's just like it's at super speed.
I mean, well, it's because you're doing too much. You're doing too much,
I guess
as the kids
so,
say.
Yeah.
Doing too much. But yeah, this is our
film. From Halloween. I mean, it was just Halloween, it seems.
Just Halloween, yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just this time yesterday, we were walking the streets, collecting candy from unsuspecting adults.
I mean, it's cliche to, like, sit around and have this discussion even.
It's like it's about 2 months between Christmas now. Christmases.
It's been Christmas since Halloween, though, really.
I mean, yeah, people are kind of starting over here in, well, where we are in Texas, seem to be kind of going, yeah, Thanksgiving, it's kind of slipping away now.
Yeah.
It's breaking up.
It's like right after Halloween. I mean, it's been that way in Britain, hasn't it? Right after Halloween.
Well, like, yeah, right after Halloween. Right after Halloween, you put up your Christmas tree. I mean, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Britain, so it's like there's no other holiday between Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, people go, oh, Guy Fawkes, but that's just kind of like a celebration of, like, that's just an excuse to build a bonfire and let off fireworks and stuff. You know, nobody really cares about that anymore.
I mean, it makes sense if you're going to go through the trouble.
Not as big as it was in Victorian times, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense if you're going to go through the trouble of dragging decorations out and decorating to have them up at least a couple of months, doesn't it?
Well, yes.
I mean, to
drag them out on the 24th and take them back down on the 26th.
Yeah.
Bit weird, mate. Bit weird.
I think traditionally, I mean, this is not what this podcast is supposed to be about, by the way, but
this episode, anyway.
I think
this whole podcast is about Christmas.
I think traditionally,
it's the Christmas podcast.
People put decorations up on Christmas Eve, and then you leave them through, like,
you leave them up until the 12th.
Yeah,
isn't it the 12th?
Something like
that. And if you take them down before or after the 12th, that's it. Bad luck for the rest of the life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, really. I mean, I just know. I don't care, really. I don't care.
I don't care when you put them up.
We put a thing up. It's like, do we send Christmas cards? I was like, nah.
We have a family member who leaves the
tree up all.
You said nah. Nah about what?
Nah about what? Why are you looking all disgusted? I said,
do you send Christmas cards? Nah.
Nah, I don't. I mean, I don't care about sending them. You know, sending Christmas cards.
But I do. So.
Yeah. Because you're just like, we have a family member. What? What did you say?
We have a family member who leaves the Christmas tree up year round.
Year round.
Just decorates it for different seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
What is it, springtime Christmas tree?
It's like flowers
Spring
on it,
tree,
I think.
summer tree,
I think she
fall
puts
tree.
Hearts on it at Valentine's Day, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Chocolates on the tree. We used to have chocolates on the tree when I was a kid for Christmas, you know, like, used to get these things and you hang chocolates. My mother was a chocolate head, you know, like candy head, I guess you would call it, but,
yeah.
You know, it's like, she'd eat any kind of sugary confection, you know, she'd eat. And I suppose that's where I got it from, too.
Gotten along with my mother, then.
And it's just like, we used to have that on the trees, like little chocolates on the tree. There'd be like little things like, oh, it's for Dominic, you know. It's like, oh, yeah, no, she was eating them more than I was, I think. It's like, can I have a chocolate from the tree? No. That's mine. I want that one. But
only the ones you can reach, and there's only 2 down there.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I don't think that's a tradition over here, putting chocolates on the tree.
I mean, it's old-fashioned. Chocolates.
We were a very old-fashioned family.
Fruit, nuts.
Even in the 90s.
You know, that's very old-fashioned. It's traditional, but
yeah. There was only chocolates we put on the tree. We didn't put candy canes or anything like that.
Popcorn.
Nah.
Cranberries,
no.
You know.
Don't put cranberries. Next you'll be putting just put candles on the tree too, you know, and then light every one of them. And oh no, the whole tree's gone up in flames. But
anyway.
Anyway, back to what this episode's about. It's film and TV.
If they listen to us, they're used to this. So.
Are you used to it? Yeah, you're used to it.
We make no apologies at this point.
It's film and TV with a Christmas twist. But we are talking about the newly remastered and released Beatles Anthology.
Yay!
The Beatles, yes. They've released their anthology about 20-odd years after they released the DVDs of it. Because it came out, I remember I had when I was
30 years after it came out originally.
Yeah, 30 years after it came out.
It's been 30 years.
30 years since the anthology, yeah.
Jeez.
And they all look 30 years younger in it.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's the...
Because they were.
Because they were. I mean, those interviews, I think it was... I mean, this project, for people who've never seen the Beatles Anthology or even seen it when it came out, because, a whole couple of generations have been born since it came out.
Almost, but yeah.
I used to get the tapes and stuff. They were... it started off, the Anthology project. It was Neil Aspinall, their road manager, was collecting all the footage and just stringing along a chronological order of them, and just kind of without even interviewing them. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of evolved over the years.
It was just going to tell their story through the video and pictures, and just kind of like, maybe people who were around at the time would go, oh yeah, I remember that and remember this, and, Derek Taylor and, obviously they couldn't do Brian Epstein, but, so it just evolved with that. And then it just kind of like, they were going to tentatively get the Beatles back together to do something for it. Yeah. But then John was killed, and then it just kind of like got put in the back burner for years until 1991 when they decided, okay, let's get together, let's do something. Let's film some interviews for this, let's get the ball rolling. And of course the Free as a Bird tapes and the Real Love tapes, we'll release a single with it, we'll release outtakes of our stuff on albums. And we'll release this documentary series, which I think in the UK it was around what it was now. It's like 50 minutes long, and then in the America they extended it. Okay.
And
so
the episodes. Yeah. So what was released on DVD was what was like the extended versions of the anthology. Yeah. So I remember getting a tape when I was a kid. I think of Anthology 1 or something, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to get the Anthology 1, I'm going to get all the tapes, but I think I only ended up getting... A tape,
meaning a VHS?
VHS.
Or a cassette tape? Okay.
VHS, yeah. And I got it just before we went on holiday to Spain. And I remember I was like, I was excited to watch this, I was like,
I don't want to go to Spain, I want to watch this.
Yeah, I was pretty much, I was like, do you think they'll have a tape player out there? My dad was like, no, they won't have a tape player in the hotel. This is a different thing. This is an English VHS, and then in Spain it's different and on. So I had to hold on to this for a whole 2 weeks. This tape, just like, excited, to watch it. And then I finally watched it. It was brilliant, and everything was great, And I think I only ended up getting 4 of the documentary tape on VHS, And then, years later, when 2002 or something, they released the full DVD set.
So did you watch it when it came on television originally then? Or was,
I think,
was it
no,
on tape
I
the
watched,
first time you'd seen it?
No, I'd caught bits and pieces of it here and there.
Yeah.
When it came out in like 95 or something like that. I was like 8 or 9, so I was still kind of like, 20 greatest hits is my Beatles thing, and I was still kind of like, a kid, so I was still into other things.
Yeah.
So I missed a lot of the anthology on TV, but when it came on, I'd be watching it. It would come on at like 11 o'clock at night if I was still awake or something, And I'd be like, I got to watch that,
It was like must-see TV that the original airing.
I think the original airing, yeah, they watched it. It was in Britain too, but I don't think they made as big a deal about it as they did over here.
Family members over, and we all gathered in the living room like it was the Beatles on Ed Sullivan all over again. It was like, oh yes, we have to watch this. Yeah, it was great. It it was like enrapturing, you know.
I mean, my parents, my mother and father, you know, they were exactly the right age for Beatlemania. And my mother got more into Cliff Richard and the Shadows than the Beatles. She says to me, "Oh yeah, I like the Beatles too. George Harrison was my favorite."
Yeah.
But you know, and she liked the music, but Cliff Richard was her man. You know.
Yeah.
She was, you know, she was just the right age. You know, she would have been about 11, 12, something like that. So. My dad too. He's like, "Oh yeah, I liked them when they first came out. You know, every boy was doing the whole putting on the suit and tie and the Beatle boots and their hair, and then, you know, he just kind of by 1965 or 66, he kind of growing out of it.
Yeah,
and he was into folk music, and my mother was into other kinds of music. You know, I guess my mother was a bit more of a teeny bopper, but Cliff was her man. You know, Cliff was her first crush.
Yeah.
So my dad was like, "Oh yeah, I like the Rolling Stones and all that stuff." So when I, you know,
the Rolling Stones were for the boys, and the Beatles were for the girls.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that kind of thing. By, you know, when they were in their 20s and stuff, they were into other types of music, and, you know, my dad was well into folk. He was Bob Dylan, Hamish Imlach, Van Morrison. You know, all the people who were like known, and they had like fan bases, and, you know, they were like easy kind of listening and all that. You know, he was kind of like into that. I mean, he'd like other things too, like Eric Clapton, and, you know,
yeah,
you know, but, you know, so I didn't get my Beatles obsession from them.
Yeah.
I totally kind of formed it on my own, it would seem. So when the anthology came out, and, you know, when I managed to get them on DVDs, I watched them religiously, you know.
Yeah.
I just watched it, and they had the special features on it. That was like the whole disc of special features. I was like, what? What is this? You know?
Yeah.
So because they were like jamming and stuff like that at the end and all that. And I was just like, oh, this is great stuff. And, you know, so this new one they've done on Disney Plus, they've rejigged the episodes a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people going, oh, they've edited stuff out, and they've edited this out, and they've edited that out, because, you know, probably for just kind of like they've sanitized the story.
Well, you have
it's
the Beatles.
Disney.
You have the Beatles Anthology book.
Yeah, I read that too.
And I thought that because that book has a lot of stuff in it that the video
the interviews didn't have, yeah.
So
and you could tell they'd done it like at the same time, you know, that was like something they just transcribed from a interview.
Yeah, so I really thought that here on Disney Plus
they would do
it was going to be more it was going to be more stuff, like sort of like in the same vein of the Get Back documentary. I thought it was going to be more stuff, but we rewatched it, of course, because obviously, you know, we're Beatles heads. But it wasn't the case at all. It was less to me.
They've cut stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, but they have put alternate takes and you know, stuff that wasn't in the original back into it.
Yes, yeah.
But it's still
not
like,
as much as I thought there was.
Not as much as, you know, you thought you were going to get like the complete remastered, unedited version of the DVDs.
Just every question they asked. You know? Yeah, every question they asked. Yes. I thought it was going to be exactly what came on television back then, plus a lot more.
They've recut it to kind of make it flow better, because in the 90s it was kind of like and I saw this on Reddit, someone said that too. It was like, in the 90s, our viewing experience and our viewing habits were a little bit slower. The documentary ran a little bit slower, so it was like fade outs here, and then, you know, just like a lot of like, you know, talking heads, as I like to call them, footage, and it would just go on forever, you know, and just silent. Over this one is kind of, they've tightened everything up. There's not as much in-vision footage, you know. There still is, you know, but there isn't as, like, you know, they've got music and stuff and pictures and video over it, you know, just them kind of narrating it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit, you know, they've chopped up things.
Not as long talking heads, you mean?
Not as long talking heads, yeah. You know, not as long just like footage of them. We're seeing them, yeah.
Because I guess, I mean, I don't mind that because
If
it's like, oh, we've got a lot to show.
Yeah.
So if we just have them, like, you're just looking at them telling you this stuff, we could be showing you as they're telling you.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I don't mind that. Another thing I don't mind, to be fair, is the very first episode where they're talking about their history and the music that they were into and everything. I don't mind that they cut out all the, because originally I was like, I don't care. I don't care about listening to all these other people that they were into. You know, the freight train, all of that kind of. It was just like it was
freight train.
It was a
going
lot
so
of
fast.
that. Oh, who the skiffle bands were and the shadows and all of this kind of thing. It was. Like,
they were never into the shadows, but yeah, it was.
No, but they were saying, oh, it was kind of them doing the guitars, and
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't kind of
that footage was kind of like the same. I thought there's a lot of
they
things.
cut quite a bit of that out.
They cut a lot of them
What was happening
talking about
musically.
Hamburg. Yeah, when they first started. When they were first starting.
And
out,
I didn't mind that at all.
Jimmy Rogers and all that kind of stuff.
Like I'm watching for the Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm not watching for. I appreciate the hearing about the music that they were into and what was happening as they were like
Big
growing
Bill
up and stuff.
Broonzy.
But I don't need to hear all of it. Like you know, it's like get to them.
Get back to the Beatles.
Yeah, just get to them. Let's just.
Yeah. No, I mean, I because somebody goes, oh, I can't believe they cut out the freight train thing, because that was just kind of showing just how doomed British music was before they got the Beatles came on the scene. And it was like skiff. They were they just had Lonnie Donegan doing Rock Island Line, and then they'd have freight train going so fast, and you know, I'm like, yeah, it's probably they cut a lot of that stuff out for copyright.
Yeah,
it was like someone.
It's fine with me.
Yeah. So, and you know, but then they had like a lot of people complained that they cut down a lot of the stories of the Hamburg stuff, and people go, oh, well, it's Disney Plus, so they're sanitizing it. Ooh, you know, kids watching and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, like there's stories about Paul and Pete Best in Hamburg with the condom.
Yeah.
Setting fire to the condom is gone. I can't remember. But what it is, people go, oh, it's gone. But it turns up later in the episode.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, not the condom one, the story, but, you know, just other stories that they thought people were jumping the gun a bit, you know.
Some of it, but I did feel like, yeah, they did cut down. And that was quite an interesting time in their career, in their origin story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they did cut a little bit of that, a little bit too much of that out.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know. But yes, obviously, you know, it was 30 years ago, and they're gonna cut out stuff that would possibly, you know, get them canceled today. Well, I mean, there was nothing really that would have got them canceled. But
I mean, really, no. I mean, there's actually more in the Get Back documentary that would get them cancelled today than there was in that, because most of this, because, you know, when you say, oh, they cut it out for, like, you know, because it's not politically correct and the attitudes of the time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, oh yeah, the early 60s, yeah, John doing all that kind of thing. Yeah, they cut that bit out.
Yeah.
That was very noticeable when, like, oh yeah, you know, John would do the daft clapping.
Yes, yeah.
And, you know, and he'd just do that kind of thing. And then they had a clip of John talking about, oh yeah, the people, and I was scared of that happening to me or something, you know, and they cut all that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
From like 64, you know, onwards. I think it was Anthology 3 or 4.
They did actually,
originally.
I think there was a bit more like talk about them doing drugs, maybe. Was it included at the end in the bonus thing? I can't remember. Maybe,
exactly. Yeah, because they saved
there was a little bit more than there was originally, you know.
No, to be fair to Disney, it flows a lot better than the original did. Because I do now, thinking back in the DVDs, the interview bits were a little bit like, oh, you know, they found all the, like, collections of Paul on his boat talking about this.
Yeah.
And they found collections of Paul at the campfire talking about this.
Yeah.
This, you know, on the boat, he was talking about, like, meeting Elvis and, you know, and all this kind of stuff, you know. And for some reason, that got, I guess whoever was editing this thought that they met Elvis in 1964.
Oh, yeah.
Because they put it in the, like, 1964 section of meeting when they met Elvis, but it was actually 1965 they met him. And a lot of people were like, oh yeah, they screwed. That's it. I'm going back to my DVDs. That's it. I'm done with this. There's a lot of, like, online, they've like, screen capped, you know, the video footage of them, like, from the 60s and stuff like that, you know, which has been AI upscaled.
Yeah.
And it looks a little, you know, and it's just kind of like the motion of it. They've probably put like True Motion or something on it. They've done it, and it distorts their faces a little bit, you know, because it's, you know, it's old footage, and, you know, they've just used it. They've put it through an AI upscaler to make it look sharp and crisp and fresh and whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like, you know, it didn't look bad to me when I was watching it, but I can kind of see it when they're moving a little bit. They kind of distort a little bit, but that's, you know, that's AI, you know.
Yeah.
But people are kind of going on screen crapping the worst bits of it and going, oh, look, they look terrible, oh, you know, they treat like ordinary passenger. Yes. But really, you know, it looks fine to me. It looks they've cut down on the performance aspects of it as well. Like you know, they got rid of like a lot of the drop-in performance. They just had it Long Tall Sally, and I think they did that with the Royal Variety performance too. They just had the last number they did, instead of like the full performance.
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think. Is there other stuff that they've released? There's not, though, is there? That you can find those things on, and thought, oh, they can watch that.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of in that same.
It's
vein,
on YouTube.
In that same vein, there was quite a bit from the Get Back included in this.
Yeah, I mean,
which I found sort of superfluous, since we got the whole Get Back thing.
In the original anthology, I think they went a lot more on the talking heads there. I vaguely remember there was a long scene where Paul was at the campfire talking about the breakup of the band.
The campfire. Paul's filming locations, by the way. If you've never seen the anthology, it's just comical, really.
Yeah, because, I mean, sometimes he's on a boat, sometimes he's backstage at one of his, like, you know, his stadium gig or whatever, you know. And then other times he's at a campfire, you know, just kind of like stoking a fire, and he's just there talking about it. It's just kind of like, I don't know what, you know, like Jules Holland or whoever turned up today is like, oh, okay, we're going to do an interview. Do you want to do it? And so that's like, no, I'm going to go out on the boat, and you can film me out on the boat. And I'll just be like...
Meanwhile, George and Ringo were just like in front of a pool, or like in a room.
In a room.
You know?
George and Ringo, I mean...
Paul's like, no,
Ringo was at his poolside in LA, or he was, you know, in front of a... you know, window in London or whatever, you know, whatever. George, a lot of his interviews were filmed in Port Meirin. You know, as the anthology went on.
For some reason.
Well, he loved the place. He was having his 50th birthday up there, so like 1993. Yeah. And they just figured, oh, we'll go up there and film some interviews for the anthology. So he was in like a room in one of the houses there that was kind of ornate, because people thought that was his house. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is Friar Park.
It sort of is like what you think Friar Park would look like.
Yeah, so I guess he was just kind of like, you know, I don't want to do this at my house. I'll do it at, you know, somewhere where they can go, you know, later on for tours, you know, because they do now. And then he did it outside you know, and there's like a statue there and all that, you know, because it's very Italian.
I think that might have been in his garden.
No, it was in Port Meirin, because they figured it out. It was like this big column. It's like, they call it something, I can't remember. But it's Port Meirin, it's in North Wales. It's like this Italianate village that was built in some, I don't know when it was built, like in the 20s or something. Brian Epstein loved it. The Beatles apparently loved it. Well, George did anyway. They loved going up there and staying there, and of course the Prisoner TV series was filmed there with Patrick McGoohan. You know, that was entirely on location there. So, you know, they had that that whole connection there. But yeah, a lot of the, you know, when he was talking about the band breaking up, he did talk about like the argument that went on between them about them and Alan Klein, and he was like, well, we're signing with Klein. You got to sign it today. You got to do it now. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And they were like, no, you've got to sign it today, and and it got a little bit fraught, and I was just like, oh, I'm not doing it. And so I went and did a track with Steve Winwood. It was like, oh, that was the first time, everything kind of like really broke down, emotions ran high.
Yeah.
They kind of took a lot of that out of the end and just said, oh yeah, even though we were breaking up, we still loved each other. It was great, and it was like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
But as a lot of, in that time, it was like, oh, it was bad. And, we were arguing and all this kind of stuff. And it was kind of like a depressing end, Anthology 8.
Oh, yes. By the time it was like, oh, yeah, it was so great, the early episodes, and then by the time you got to the last episode, it was like, oh, Jesus, you were so, like, sad.
We hated each other. This is terrible, because they kind of edited it to kind of, like, go with, like, that public perception of, like, oh, yeah, Paul takes the blame for everything because he split up the band.
Yeah.
They never mentioned that.
They didn't even
acknowledge it.
That he was the first, because they did talk about that in the original Anthology.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting to see, like, how it compares. I think somebody's doing it, Oh, this is the original cut of the Anthology that went out on the DVDs, and this is what Disney Plus have edited out, A lot of the language they used in the interviews as well has been edited out. A lot of stories kind of, like, that might annoy people.
Yeah.
About the boys in Paris and all that kind of stuff.
They didn't really talk about, you said annoy people, and it just immediately made me think of annoying Yoko.
Yeah.
They didn't really talk about when John started. I mean, they mentioned it, but they didn't really, because I think in the original Anthology, they talked a bit more about, oh, you'd bring her in and she'd just be there in the bed, and we were getting really annoyed, like, what,
Oh, that might have been Wingspan. He talks to Mary, and this is if you're thinking about Paul, when they did.
I think George too was talking about it. He was like, oh, like
Yoko was there in her bed, and they kind of went on, and so this has kind of given Yoko a better edit as well, because at this point it's just kind of like,
and she was whispering to him, and
maybe I don't know, I'd have to look. I can't really remember too much about that, but I'd have to look, and I do remember Paul.
We don't have anything to watch our DVDs on, because we've got it on DVD, don't we? But
do we? Yeah, it's somewhere downstairs. We don't have a DVD player anymore. They got rid of them. The powers that be of life got rid of them. Yeah. I mean, people are buying them now, cheap on eBay.
Yeah.
Well, cheap on eBay. They're quite expensive, I think. But no, someone will have it online somewhere, the whole thing. You know? It's probably on Archive or something, But yeah, it's episode 9 really kind of got me, I think.
That was
that's the new one.
The
bonus one.
Yeah.
But it was like a new episode they put together with all the footage, and they'd put like the round table stuff, and they put new interviews with George in, talking about, oh yeah, it's sad that John isn't here to.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm sorry for John that he can't be here, and
sort of get this like cathartic, like we're talking about everything, and we're just like, and it's all fine now,
It's all fine now.
Yeah, yeah, and he was just like, I feel sad that John didn't get to do this.
Yeah, because we've just got archival interview of him. They used a lot of him on Tomorrow. That must have been like Tom Snyder. And they had a lot of, sound clips, I guess, of him, I guess from like the Rolling Stone interview where they asked him, they went through every song and they said who did what on every song, who wrote what.
Yeah.
And, he'd go, that was me. That was me. That was entirely me. Paul did the middle 8.
Yeah.
And so they filled out the anthology quite nicely with that kind of stuff, I think. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a little slightly more more recent than the rest of the interviews, but not recent at all, actually. There was one little, I don't know what that interview was from, where Paul was like, it's sort of like after they did the anthology, and I think maybe the ones where Ringo's like in front of the London window.
That
they
was
seemed
that-
like
that-
after
that-
the anthology, they were
that-
from something else, were
That
they?
no, the London window. No, that was that was
In
on
the original,
the
I
original
think?
one.
Oh.
There was one where Paul was like seemingly outside.
He's
in,
got
like,
a shorter
meadow.
haircut.
Yeah, that was like 97, 98.
Yeah, I don't know what that
maybe.
was from. They
And
included
obviously it
it.
was just some kind of like, extra bit or something, maybe not even for the anthology. And some of the sound clips I thought, oh, this is more recent Paul talking
Oh,
about
really?
this. Yeah.
Oh,
Some of the sound clips, his voice sounded a little bit older, like not like today, but
I thought maybe would. That's
and I
another
thought,
thing is I
yeah.
thought maybe there would be some more recent, because the thing about the anthology is, if you ever heard George Harrison talk about it after they put the anthology out, and he referred to it as the Beatles mythology because
everybody had differing recollections, and then there was also stuff
that they just agreed upon being the official
that's the official story of
things.
things. Yeah,
but it's not really how things happen. Like, for instance, the way that John and Yoko met.
Yeah, that was
the true story. Paul has since told the real story on like interviews with Howard Stern and stuff. And it's not the official John and Yoko meeting story.
I mean, the official story about how he and John met apparently is, he says, "Oh, I first met him at the Walton Village Fete.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever seen him, whatever,
That was the first time I'd ever seen him, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they officially had met. They ran into each other.
Mark Lewison says,
yeah,
in private, at like little parties and stuff, he'd tell the story of when they actually first met. He said, I knew who he was. He was this guy around town. He was kind of like this big guy, and I met him in some sweet shop or fish and chip shop or something like that. He says, and I bumped into him, and we talked or something.
Yeah.
And that was when we first met, and that was like a year or something before.
Yeah.
The official meeting, like
yeah.
the Walton Fete, but it was kind of like he knew who John was. John might have known who he was,
Maybe.
It was kind of like, oh, Paul McCartney.
You can sort of see John probably not, though, because he was younger.
He was younger, yeah. He was, that kid.
But you can definitely see, like, Paul and maybe George, too. I mean, I've never heard anything about George having known who John was, but you can sort of see them like, oh, yeah, he's this cool guy. He's a bit known for his antics and
stuff like that, yeah. I mean, around Liverpool, because, all the kids were kind of like getting into
they didn't
rock
live
and roll
that
and
far
skiffle.
from each other.
They didn't live that far from each other. They'd probably congregate in town or whatever.
Parties,
or on a bus, they happened to get on the same bus. I think that's another thing that Paul said. Oh, yeah, he used to get on the same bus as me sometimes. John would.
Yeah.
And he'd go and sit at the back and, just be this guy and he'd be like, oh, and I'd be like, oh, And then he has this kind of story about like, oh, I remember when I was playing the piano in the Walton Village Hall and John leaned over me and he had this terrible beery breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dear. Oh. John, you drinker, you.
Yeah,
terrible beery breath there.
Oh dear, Paul. Saint Paul.
Saint Paul, who never a drop passed his lips 4 times. I'm glad they kept that in. I'm glad there was another story. Ringo's coffee table story got kept in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought, they're going to edit that out for time, are they? It's probably a load of other things. I'll have to look at like the official kind of like someone's compiled it and they've put like little things that, this is what they edited out, this line here,
Oh my God. Some people have so much time.
People are rabid fans, like, oh yeah, but the picture quality and the sound quality is amazing. Episode 9, yeah, there was a lot of more new interviews from like George and Ringo at the time that never got into the other cut, the original cut, I guess you could call it. The DVD cut.
Yeah.
And I felt like, it was, they were very good, they were very well done. There's a lot more Tomorrow footage they found as well.
They were good. I think I'm going to be one of those, like, old bitter people who are like, nah, I like the anthology, the original one better.
The DVDs
Other
better.
than the fact
Got my
that they did add
standard
some new stuff, particularly in that the final episode. All of that was probably better for the most part. But yeah, I mean, we'd have to go back and watch the original cut and see for ourselves. It was good though. It was fine. I wouldn't say, oh, I don't like it, I'm never watching that again, you know? It's like,
they told it better, I think. You know, they rejigged the interviews and the footage and the timeline and all that better. There's still a couple of things that are just kind of like, oh yeah, someone didn't really do their research.
I think
here.
I preferred though the dramatic ends of each episode in the original as opposed to what they did here, because it just adds more to the epicness of the Beatles story.
I think they ended them all pretty much the same way as the original cut.
No, because sometimes it'd be like, and that was when da-da, and then it's just like, boom,
you know,
and you're just like, oh my god, no, I need the next episode. Yeah. Originally, you know,
yeah,
this one was a bit more like you say, TikTok paced.
It was TikTok. It was faster paced. Like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so there weren't so many like dramatic pauses or like build-ups to the boom, you know, ending, whatever. I don't know. I mean, maybe
there was a lot of fades and
I
cuts and
like
stuff in the original anthology. You know,
a lot more drama.
A lot more like drama.
The drama, I think, adds to the.
But now it's TikTok pace. It's like, oh yeah, you can just watch it and just be like, it just keeps going and going, and then
you don't have time to swipe because it's just.
That's what's I'm just watching this now, and I can't swipe, and I was going to swipe, but I can't. Oh, don't know what's happening.
But yeah, it was good. We recommend it. If you've never seen the anthology before, watch this version.
Yeah, if you're a big Beatles fan, you'll bloody love it.
It's fine.
Yeah. They kept in that bit as well with it's the bloody Beatles White Album. Shut up.
Yeah, I love that part.
People's like, oh well, it should have been. Oh yeah, it's great. It's whatever. It's the bloody Beatles White Album. Shut up.
and that is how I feel. I always love that part because that is how I feel about the Beatles White Album. Because a lot of people go, "Oh, it's not."
It should have been a single album, and because George Martin
it was
said
just a bunch of it was just a bunch of singles because they were all just doing their own thing, and it didn't go together, and blah blah blah. And it's just like, yeah, it was such a mishmash of styles and all their different. It's like that is the Beatles, though. Well, they were into a lot of different kinds of music.
You know,
it's a bloody Beatles White Album. Shut up! No, I loved when he said that because I do quite like the White Album too. So that's how I feel when people are going, it should have been this, it shouldn't have been that.
It should have been this, and it shoulda, woulda, couldas. And it's easy in hindsight to go, yeah, we should have done this and we should have done that.
Yeah.
But there we go, you know.
And so the Christmas spin on this episode is going to be talk about, speaking of the Beatles, speaking of Paul McCartney.
The Paul McCartney man.
NPR had a story.
Oh, I've seen this story.
That, and I mean, I'm saying it like it's all their fault. They're just saying.
It's NPR's Christmas
They're just
story.
saying, and they're not wrong based on what I've seen online.
Yeah.
That a lot of people hate Simply Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. Apparently it's one of the most hated Christmas songs. And they're like, oh, you either love it or you hate it.
A lot of people in the UK, I mean, didn't like Paul anyway. Because he was the one who
broke up the Beatles.
He announced the Beatles split. You know, there's a lot of people who, you know, go, oh, well, you know, it was Yoko's fault. It was Linda's fault. It was...
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you know, it was no one's fault. They just split up, you know, but Paul announced it. So, and we don't like Paul.
Yeah. Because
John and Paul were having a bit of a Barney in the papers and everything like that in the early 70s. And then it goes on to like 1984 and stuff when Paul released the Frog Chorus and Give My Regards to Broad Street, and people are like, oh, well, he's had it now, he's terrible. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sick of hearing that Wonderful Christmas Time.
Oh, Wonderful Christmas Time and Happy Christmas War is Over is a much better Christmas song. And I don't know if the NPR article said that, but that's largely considered one of the best Christmas songs, I think, of all time.
Yeah, because of its anti-war message.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it was recorded quite straight as a Christmas song, you know, and it's got a choir and everything like that, you know. Whereas Paul's sounds like it was done for McCartney too.
Yeah.
And he just decided to release it as a single. Because he was messing about on synthesizer, which were kind of starting to come up in the late 70s, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all over every 80s record, you know, from Madonna to Michael Jackson and everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, it was just do. But Paul was like, you know, he was one of the early adopters of it, you know, just messing about with it. So it's synth heavy, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, is that why people hate it?
I think so. It sounds dated. People like it's dated.
People in the United States
content
even
is terrible.
don't like it as well, because I've seen it online. People go, "Oh God,
well,
I used to work in the grocery store, and
they
play that." Yeah,
they play
I
to
guess
death. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's going to come on after Elton John's Step Into Christmas, and then it's just again.
Because it's nowhere near as bad as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reggae to me.
Well, yeah. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reggae, yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about there,
that was a Wings one.
That one up.
I think that was released around 1971, 72, maybe.
They all kind of did. I mean, George's, they play it as a Christmas
like a New
song.
Year's
Ding dong, ding dong.
Yeah, that came out, Dark Horse.
Ding dong, ding dong. I mean, was that supposed to be a Christmas song? I don't know.
I don't know. It was supposed to be like a new ring out the old, ring in the new. And
was it even supposed to be a New Year's song though, or was it just like a song he had, you know, and they just happened to play it like?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know. It just became one, I guess.
I mean, that one's quite repetitive, but it's fine too. It's just like, I don't know, people, you know.
But also at that point, that whole album, George had laryngitis, so his voice is all double tracked and he sounds like that. So ring out the old, ring in the new. Yes. You know? So it's everybody's like, oh, he sounds terrible on it, you know?
Ringo also has... Did Ringo actually do an entire Christmas album?
He did an entire Christmas album in like 2008 or something.
Yeah. So they've all done Christmas music. And if... What is that? What's the Hugh Grant movie? About a Boy. If About a Boy taught us nothing, it's that if you can have a good Christmas hit, you can just live off of that.
You can live off of it
alone.
Well, no, they estimated. They said, I think it's probably the one that brings it, for Paul at least.
Yeah.
It's the one that brings in the most money to his estate.
Well, think about, you know, if what annoys you about it is the fact that it's overplayed. You know,
overplayed.
Every time they play it, he makes some money.
£400,000 a year. Yeah, you know, which is a living wage, which is a wage. You know,
yeah. So I mean, he doesn't care if people don't like
you know,
it.
because it's like, oh, we reached out to Paul's reps for comment, but on his website he did say, it's like, oh, sometimes, you know, people say it gets played a bit much, but I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy about that.
I'm sure.
It's like, you know, I don't care because I'm getting the money for it. So, you know, and it was something I just, you know, whacked off on a synthesizer, you know, you know, it's just like, you know, knocked off.
Let us know if you are a fan of Paul McCartney's Simply Wonderful Christmas Time, or if you absolutely hate it.
It was just, he just had a chorus.
Or if you prefer Happy Xmas War is Over.
So this is Christmas.
Because I think I have heard some people are like, oh, they don't care for that either.
Yeah, no.
It's like, oh, Yoko.
Because Yoko.
In it, you know.
Well, Yoko does the. And so no, what does she do? And a merry Christmas.
That's it.
And a happy New Year.
I always thought that was a kid. I never for the longest time knew that it. I mean, it is kids, but I always thought that was just one of the kids. Like for the longest time, I never knew that was her.
No, I mean, she was leading.
Like, that's Yoko.
She's leading the like choir in it. Yeah.
So this is Christmas. Yeah.
So this is Christmas.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we really appreciate your support.
Fab.
Happy start to the Christmas season.
The Christmas season with cocoa and marshmallows.
Hope you're taking it easy and not getting too overwhelmed by the countdown that is inevitable.
Hot chocolate.
Everybody's always like, only
Gingerbread.
24 days to Christmas, only 23 days to Christmas. It's like, shut up.
We know.
Yes.
We can count.
Yeah, right?
You know, we don't need to count down to Christmas. I mean, Hallmark, I'm sure are gearing up for all that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure they're going.
Yeah, it's like, here's a Hallmark Christmas movie just for you.
Give us a follow on social media
Like
if
a
you
whole
don't.
cheese pizza.
Follow us
Just for
already.
you.
We're at T-Buddy, TEABUTTY across all social. Shout out to our patrons for their continued support. We really appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to everybody next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.